Hi everybody, so this is the last video for me anyway, recording. You may not have watched them in order, it doesn't matter. And this one is going to be very abs focused. There will be some plank and there will be some double tabletop and some other lovely treats. But we'll get going. So we're going to start on hands and knees. So make sure I try and stick to my plan a little bit. Okay, so we just want those wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let those feet just relax back behind you. And then when you're ready, you're going to breathe out, round the back up, and breathe in, and lengthen out again. So just thinking about that tailbone coming towards the base of the sternum as you round up, and then tailbone reaching out behind you, top of the head reaching forward as you lengthen out. And try not to sort of sink into lots of extension. Try and find that flexion and then as much length as you can from the top of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Just go for one more. And then lengthen out again. We're going to stay where we are. We do a few scapular isolations. Check you have got that distance between your ears and your shoulders. The top of the head's reaching forward. Those shoulder blades are gently sliding down the back of the rib cage. And then we're going to breathe out, let that chest sink down. Breathe in and float up again. So now, rather than flexing through the back, we're trying to keep a relatively straight line all the way through that spine. Just letting the rib cage sink down so those shoulder blades come towards each other and then they get pushed apart again. Just go for 3, 2 and 1. Pause in that position where you feel like you're floating up. Find a bit of lift through the tummy as well, and we're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to keep the weight back into those toes and we're going to breathe out. Hover those knees just above the floor. Hold it for a breath in. Breathe out, come gently back down again. Same again. Breathe out to hover. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out to come back down again. If you really struggle on your wrists, you could come onto your fists. Keep drawing those shoulders away from the ears. If you still struggle in that position, you could come down onto forearms, but you've got to keep those shoulders drawing away from the ears, and it does get rather strong into those shoulders. If you have something you could put your forearms on, maybe like a small stool or something that brings you so that you're about the same height shoulders to hips, that's a good option for working on forearms. So we're going to go for another 5. Breathe out, hover it up, hold for the breath in, gently down. 4. Keep the knee hovers small. Keep drawing those shoulders down away from the ears. Just 2 more. And one last one. And down. And then just drop your bottom back to your heels. Slide those arms out in front of you. Just have a few nice deep breaths into the back of the body there. Now we're going to come and work into some forearm plank. Anytime you need a breather, just drop yourself back down into your nice shell stretch. So let's start elbows under shoulders. Again, those shoulders drawing away from the ears, and then you're just going to step one foot back, step the other foot back, and bring yourself into your forearm plank. We're just going to hold it there. You've got your heels reaching back, tailbone reaching for the heels, top of the head reaching forwards, and those shoulders drawing away from the ears. And just breathe into that. Should not give your back any trouble. If in doubt, come a bit higher with those hips. Don't let them sink. Should make your tummy muscles work rather hard. Trying to keep the back of that neck up in line with the rest of the spine, and it shouldn't give your back any trouble at all. One knee down, other knee down. Drop yourself back into your nice shell stretch just for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to reset. So draw those shoulders away from the ears. Step one foot back, step the other foot back. Tailbone reaching for those heels. From here, we're going to do little knee touches. So we're trying to keep that pelvis level and still. Just bend one knee, touch it down, bend the other knee, touch it down. If you start to find your feet slide backwards, just have a reset. Breathing out each time you step, touch a knee down. I'm just going to go for 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. One knee all the way in and down, other knee all the way in and down. Drop it back into that shell stretch. Just breathe into the back of the body for a few deep breaths. We're going to reset. We're going to do the same again. Take your time. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. Step back with one, step back with the other. Keep those heels reaching back, tailbone reaching for the heels. Touch one knee down, then the other knee down. Make sure you straighten the one leg back before you bend the next one. Breathing out to touch down, breathing to straighten it back. Keep those shoulders drawing away from the ears. We're going to go 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then all the way in. Drop yourself back into a little shell stretch. Breathe into the back of the body there. This time we're going to reset and we're going to have a roll of those hips side to side. So back onto those forearms. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Step back with one foot, back with the other. Heels reaching back, tailbone reaching for those heels. Just roll onto one side of those feet and then roll onto the other side of those feet. Don't let those hips sink. Better to have them a bit higher than a bit lower. Again, tummy muscles should feel like they're working jolly hard. Arms will be working hard too. Shouldn't give your back any trouble. If it does, go back to a previous option, maybe just holding the plank or doing your little knee touches. Go 2 and 2. And 1 and 1, back to centre, one knee down, other knee down. Drop yourself back into that shell stretch and breathe into the back of the body there. We are going to do one more set of those. So last set in this plank work. Really draw those shoulders away from the ears. Step one foot back, step the other foot back, heels reaching back, and then rolling from one side to the other. Be very easy to let yourself sink. Keep that tailbone reaching back, keep the tummy lifted. Swiveling over those feet. If you struggle swiveling your feet, you can sort of do a little dip one way, little dip the other without the actual swivel. Keep breathing. Keep the weight back into those feet. Go 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then one knee down, other knee down. Drop your bottom back to your heels. Breathe into the back of the body there. And then when you're ready, walk those hands back up towards you and we will come and have a little lie down. Doing this one after lunch, probably should have given myself a bit more of a time for lunch to go down. Right. Come and have a little lie down. So, make sure you've got your head cushion. Length through the back of the neck. Arms nice and long by your sides. Feet hip width apart. And just have a couple of deep breaths. Let that body sink down into the mat. And when you're ready, start to have a roll of that pelvis towards and then away from you. So just breathing out, rolling that pelvis towards you, breathing in, rolling away. And just see how that feels in each direction. Have a little check in with your feet. Check you've got equal press coming down into each foot. Check you've got equal contact through both sides of the back of the rib cage. Sorry, dear me, it's definitely Definitely getting towards the point where I need a holiday because the words just are not coming out in the right order. So check you have got that equal contact underneath the back of the pelvis on each side first, then underneath the lower back on each side, and then underneath the back of the rib cage and across the back of each shoulder. And then see if you can maybe find a bit more contact with the mat across the back of each shoulder. Check that you have got lots of distance between those shoulders and your ears. And then just settle into a nice neutral position there. Now we're going to go into some abdo prep. If you don't want to do the abdo prep, that's fine. Arms stay by your sides, you're going into level 1 scissors. If you're happy to do the abdo prep, interlace those hands behind the back of the head, thumbs down the back of the neck. Shoulders stay away from the ears, those shoulder blades stay drawing down the back of the rib cage, elbows stay wide, and then just find that little extra length through the back of your neck, so you just nod your chin slightly. From here, we're going to keep neutral, we're going to breathe out, slide those ribs down towards the hips to bring the head and shoulders up, and then release it back again. Breathe out to curl up, breathe in to release it back. We should be staying neutral, so that little pocket of air under the middle of the lower back stays the same. If you feel like you lose that, just think about your tailbone staying a little bit heavier down into the mat. Now we're going to add in that level 1 scissors. So as you breathe out and curl up, one leg is coming up. Breathe in and release it down. Now keep it slow. It would be very easy to flatten through your back into the mat, and that's not what we want to do. You want to keep that tailbone heavy as you just crease at the front of the hip for the leg to come up, and then flex through that upper back to come up into your abdo prep. So it will limit how far up you can come. Check you're not pulling through your arms, but you are supporting your head with your hands. It's all about this movement of those ribs. They slide down and in. We're going to take it into oblique prep, coming towards that leg that's coming up. Think about your armpit coming over and across towards that leg that's lifting. Still keeping the weight right in the centre, underneath the back of that pelvis. Elbows still stay out in the periphery of your vision. They're not coming in towards the centre. Looking after your neck. If your neck starts to struggle, have a breather from the abdo prep. Just let your head have a roll to the one side, roll to the other side, release off. Just go for 2. And 2, and 1, and 1, and have a little breather. We're going to let those arms relax back overhead so they're in a bit of a Y shape, as long as that is comfy for your shoulders. Keep those shoulders drawing away from the ears. Have a roll of that pelvis backwards and forwards, and just reset back into neutral. And you're going to go for a single leg stretch. Breathe out, lengthen one leg away, breathe in to return. Now we should still have the connection of the back of that rib cage into the mat. So if you feel like you've lost that connection, ribs have popped up, just have a little moment, sink them down, maybe roll that pelvis towards you so you come completely flat into the mat, and then keep the back of the rib cage heavy as you gently roll that pelvis away and find neutral, and then go again. So we're now really lengthening through the front of the body, having really shortened through the front of the body. Just go for 2, and 2, and 1, and 1. Have a little pause, those arms come back by your sides. Have a roll of that pelvis backwards and forwards, reset, relatively neutral. We're going to bring the legs together, take the arms wide, and just have a roll of those legs to the one side, and then gently back across to the other side. Keeping those shoulder blades glued to the mat. Looking over that opposite shoulder. Keeping those knees glued together, ankles glued together. The one foot's coming up off the mat and then the other foot's coming up off the mat. Go one more in each direction. Have a pause back in the centre. Interlace those hands behind the back of the head, thumbs down the back of the neck. Find that length through the back of the neck as well. Bring those knees about halfway across and hold. And then you're going to breathe out, curl up into that abdo prep. Breathe in, release it down. So your upper body is trying to stay square on to the floor, shoulders level, but because those knees are across, it's going to work into those obliques a little bit more. Just go for 3, 2, 1. Have a pause. Draw those legs back across to the other side, about halfway, and hold. Same this way. See how it feels with the knees over to this side. Tougher with my knees to the left for me. Think about those ribs just staying absolutely as if you had your legs towards the ceiling. There's no rotation through the upper body. You're just sliding those ribs straight down towards the hips. But because those legs are over to one side, it's going to work you into those obliques again. Just go for 3, 2, 1, and come back to centre. Release those arms, feet back to hip width apart, little roll of that pelvis backwards and forwards. Set neutral. We're going to come into double tabletop. If you need to be a little bit flatter than neutral, that is okay. Breathe out, float that first leg up, sink the ribs down, float the second leg up. We're going to go straight back into hands behind the back of the head, thumbs down the back of the neck. If you've had enough of the abdo prep, just leave it out. We're going to go into a single leg stretch. Breathe out, reach one leg away, breathe in to fold it back. Same on the other side. If you're happy to, you're going to add in that abdo prep. Breathe out, slide those ribs down towards the hips to bring the head and shoulders up as that leg reaches away. Just straight abdo prep. If you had your soft peach between your chin and your chest, you are keeping it there. Look towards those legs as you curl up. Well done. We're going to take it into oblique prep towards the knee that is staying still. You're coming all the way back to centre in between each one. Weight stays right in the centre underneath the back of that pelvis. Reach the leg long as you curl that shoulder up and across. Go for 3 and 3 and 2 and 2. Last 1 and 1. Stay there or have a breather if you need one. We're going to take those arms back overhead so they're just going to stay on the floor there. We're going to go into level 2 scissors. Breathe out, touch a set of toes to the floor, breathe in to come back up. Same on the other side. We want to have those knees coming back to directly above the hips, feet at about the same height as the knees. Keeping neutral or a little bit flatter if you need to. If you're not sure whether you're maintaining the right position, come a bit flatter, especially in this position with arms back overhead. Keep the breath going. Breathe out, sink those ribs down a bit more each time you breathe out. Just go for 3 and 3. 2 and 2. 1 and 1. Take a breather if you need one, otherwise those arms are coming up towards the ceiling. This time we're going to go into double leg stretch, so both arms reach back as one leg lengthens away, those arms come around in a half circle as that leg comes back in again. Breathe out to reach. Breathe in to come back. If your arms struggle with the circle, just bring them straight back up the way they came. You want palms facing each other as those arms travel back. Palms towards the ceiling as those arms come around. Well done. We're going to go for 3 and 3. 2 and 2. Last 1 and 1. Last bit. If you need a breather, take one. Otherwise, knees wide, glue the legs together. You could always bring your feet to the floor for this bit. We're going to roll those legs across to the one side, look over the opposite shoulder. Have a breath in, breathe out. Draw those legs back across to the other side. Breath in, breathe out, draw it back. If you start to travel down your mat, just bring your head cushions with you. Those shoulder blades stay glued into the mat. See if you can just go for 2 more to each side. 2 and 2 and 1 and 1. Come back to centre, draw those knees into the chest and have a little rock side to side. Well done. So that was a good old blast into those tummy muscles. If you want to have like a stretch out, a full body stretch, reach those legs away, reach those arms back overhead, breathe into the front of the body. When we're ready, we are going to work into a little bit of bridge. So feet hip width apart, head cushions out of the way, those shoulders drawing away from the ears and maybe heels just a little bit closer in towards you. Take your time. You're going to breathe out, sink the ribs, roll the pelvis towards you and just peel any amount away from that mat. Hold for the breath in, breathe out and peel it gently back down again, all the way back to neutral. Same again. Roll the pelvis, peel up. Check you've got equal press into each foot. Pelvis is staying really level. Breath in at the top and then really sink through that chest bone to peel all the way back down to the mat, one backbone at a time. Hold at the top. Try and reach those thigh bones away from you. Keep reaching them away as you peel gently back down. Going to go just for a few more. Really push those thighs away from you. Imagine those femurs within those thighs reaching out, holding, and then keep reaching them away as you peel back down again. If you want to do the last couple with arms back overhead, feel free, let them relax on the floor. Make sure you still get that articulation away from the mat, one little backbone at a time, and the same as you peel back down again. Let's go 2 more. Check that you're not pushing your tummy up towards the ceiling. Last one. Well done. And then grab those head cushions back. Draw the knees into the chest. Just have a little rock side to side. Well done. And then when we're ready, we're going to come up to sit. So either roll to one side and push yourself up, or have a little roll backwards and forwards. Roll yourself up. So we're going to do a little bit of work into sort of like a reverse plank, if you like. We're going to set up with those legs straight. You want to sit as vertical as possible to start with. Now we need to organise these hands. You might feel more comfortable with those fingertips pointing forward. You might feel more comfortable with those fingertips pointing back. But you're really going to roll those shoulders open. You're going to lift out of those shoulders as well. So you really push down into the floor, send the top of the head up towards the ceiling. From here, you are going to scoop that tailbone up and forwards. So you come into like a little reverse plank. Hold it there, keep looking forwards, and then gently release back down again. Same again, keep those shoulders rolling open. Breathe out. Scoot that tailbone up and forwards, strong through those legs, they stay straight, keep the shoulders wide, look at those feet, and then slowly back down again. Now, if you want a little extra challenge there, and totally optional, you could just do the same again, we're going to do a lift through one leg. So keep lifting out with those shoulders, scoot the tailbone up and forwards and hold. Pelvis is going to stay level as we float one leg up, gently back down, other leg up, gently back down, and release it back to the mat. I'm going to do 2 more. Those wrists start to struggle, have a good roll round through them. Give them a little breather. Set it up again, roll those shoulders open. Scoot that tailbone up and forwards and hold. Breathe out to float one. Breathe out to float the other. Gently back down. We're going to go one more time. Scoot those hips up, hold. Breathe out to lift one. Breathe out to lift the other. Gently down. And then we're going to roll all the way forwards towards those feet and have a little stretch. Does not matter if you can reach those toes or not. You can always bend the knees. You can always hold on behind the back of the calves or the back of the thighs. Doesn't matter. You just want that stretch through the back of those legs, coming up into those hamstrings. Ideally, those shoulders want to relax. Once you're there, maybe pull those toes towards you, push the toes away. And you can do that with knees bent. You can do it with legs straight. You can do it holding onto those toes or the back of the legs, but just a little press away and then draw back. Just go for a couple more. And then walk those hands back up towards you, come back over onto hands and knees. Just drop your bottom back to your heels, take those knees wide, walk the hands forward and come back down into your shell stretch. Feel like you send that chest forward, find a bit of stretch into those inner thighs. Just have a little rock side to side, or a little sway really, side to side, just to vary that stretch. And then just come back onto all fours. Hopefully I won't chop my head off if I move far enough back. So we're going to tuck the toes under, roll back over those feet. See if you can keep the hands on the mat, take the hips up towards the ceiling. Just stay here for a few deep breaths. Let the head hang, let those arms hang. And then when you're ready, you're going to bend the knees, drop the tailbone, gently unroll all the way up. And we will just have a couple of roll downs to finish off. So big breath in, reach up, and then breathe out and roll down towards those feet. Big breath in at the bottom, press the feet into the mat, unroll it all the way up. Big breath in at the top, breathe out and peel it down. Big breath in at the bottom, press those feet into the mat to unroll up. And there we go. Well done, guys. That was quite a tough one. Don't worry if you didn't manage it all or you had to take lots of breaks. Doesn't matter as long as you kept a good position and just worked through it. Happy days. That's my last video that I'm recording before I disappear off to the Caribbean. So I hope you all have a lovely time while I'm away. I hope you all have a fab Christmas. If you're watching this video first, I apologise because none of this makes sense, but hopefully if you're watching it last, it does. And we are back first week in Jan. Tuesday the 2nd is my first working day. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care. Cheerio.